It's time to have the difficult conversations. The dust has settled on the election for the most part. So we now, as liberals, progressives, Democrats, whatever you want to call yourselves, we got to look at this and figure out what the hell happened, why the hell did it happen, how the hell can we prevent it from happening in the future. But before we do that, obviously everybody has their own opinion on who is to blame for these failures. Is it the fact that Harris rejected the idea of spending millions on outreach to black voters, which of course was reported after the election? Is it the fact that Democrats just kind of ignored any state that wasn't necessarily a swing state, resulting in Harris, of course, losing ground, even in areas where she won, not driving a bigger turnout? Maybe. Or is it, as a lot of news outlets are starting to lean towards, is it all President Biden's fault for even attempting to run for president again? News Nation host Dan Abrams took time this week to remind everybody that in 2020, Biden said, quote, in fact, he played the clip of Biden saying, "Look, I view myself as a bridge, not as anything else. There's an entire generation of leaders you saw stand behind me. They are the future of this country." That was at a campaign rally in Michigan in March of 2020. And Biden, of course, had also said, "I'm going to be a one-term guy." So Dan Abrams said this about it. "President Biden, what were you thinking ever running for re-election? Remember, he said he wouldn't do it 8 months before he won the 2020 election. The bridge," Abrams exclaimed. "He was only going to run for one term and transition the party in 2024 to new and younger leadership." And then the 80-year-old man in April of last year announced he'd be running for re-election to, quote, "finish the job." And then we all know Biden had to drop out, and then Abrams continues. "In other words, he left their party with 3 months and no primary to prepare. And let's be clear, if Biden had stayed in the race, he almost certainly would have done worse than Harris. So for anyone suggesting that the Democrats lost because Biden dropped out, that is a fantasy, because we've seen that too. The issue is that Biden probably never should have run in the first place, and so tonight we asked President Biden, what were you thinking?" Now, that is something I've grappled with over the last couple days. If Biden had dropped out, or, let's assume he did say, "Yeah, I'm running again." But let's say he decided, "You know what? Wow, I really cannot do this." And he dropped out in January. If he had done it in January, we would have had a chance to have a real Democratic primary, an open primary. We could have actually made a choice. We could have seen who works, who doesn't work, who appeals to voters, who doesn't appeal to voters. We didn't get that chance. And that is because of Biden. There is no denying that. I am not a Biden hater. I genuinely am not. I have been impressed with his administration. I think he's done well. But he couldn't run for re-election. And that hurt the party, of course. And so Harris had, 3 months to do it. And even then, Democrats didn't get a choice. And we were all actually energized when Harris was, okay, it's going to be her. I went from having really no opinion about her, wasn't thrilled about her. I genuinely liked her. I liked her policies. I liked everything about her. I came in those 3 months to genuinely respect and want her to be the president. But it also would have been nice to have a choice, right? We didn't get that. And that is because of Biden. Now, Bernie Sanders, of course, who won re-election this past week, he's got a bit of a different take. He doesn't necessarily think it's Biden's fault. He thinks in general the Democratic Party has lost its ideals, something with which I don't disagree. Here's what Biden said. Not Biden, sorry, Bernie. "It should come as no great surprise that a Democratic Party which has abandoned working class people would find that the working class has abandoned them. While the Democratic leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change, and they're right. Will the big money interests and well-paid consultants who control the Democratic Party learn any real lessons from this disastrous campaign? Will they understand the pain and political alienation that tens of millions of Americans are experiencing? Do they have any ideas as to how we can take on the increasingly powerful oligarchy, which has so much economic power? Probably not, he says. I have a feeling a lot of people are not happy with what I just read, and a lot of people watching this probably say, hell no, damn Bernie, get out of here. You're not even a real Democrat, right? But he's right. Listen, I'm not saying Democrats are horrible for working class people. They are leaps and bounds better for working class people than the Republicans are. Republicans have offered working class nothing throughout my entire life, except lies about trickle-down economics and lies about migrants and lies about the LGBTQ community. Democrats do not do that. But unfortunately, increasingly, Democrats are not doing enough for working class people. We do have a massive income gap in this country. And we can look all we want about all of the signs of the economy doing so much better on paper. And it is on paper. But for those on the other side of that income divide, the lower end, it's not. Their situations have gotten worse. You know, the upper middle class, solid middle class, whatever, they're doing good. They're doing great. But there are millions, tens of millions of Americans that have been left behind throughout this recovery. It's the same thing we saw during the Obama years with people being left behind. And what did they do? They turned around and elected Trump because they thought, well, if this isn't working, we'll change. We'll go with this guy. That didn't work, so they went with Biden. Biden didn't work, so they said, well, let's give this guy another shot. That's not going to work either. The Democrats do have to retool who they are and how they work and who they're working for. And also, as Bernie points out, who they're working with. The same old consultants, the same old lobbyists, the same old this, advisors, blah, blah, blah. James Carville coming in, coming out, doing all this crap. Everybody from the Clinton years, everybody from the Obama years. It ain't working. But they've got experience and they won in the past. Well, they're not winning now because the world has changed. The world has changed dramatically. The country has changed dramatically since Obama was the president. So what worked then doesn't work now. But if you just stick with the same people who were there at the time, they're going to do the same thing they did and say, well, it worked last time. New faces, fresh faces, new idea, working class outreach. Those are the things the Democrats have to do. Don't put up an 80-year-old to run for office either. Doesn't matter what office. It doesn't matter if you're running for president of the nursing home. Don't put up an 80-year-old. Okay? There is a lot of blame to go around. A lot of it. You cannot pin it all on one person. It's not all on Biden. It's not all on the Democrats failing to do this. It is a combination of literally everything. The perfect storm, if you will, for a Democratic defeat. And that is what we saw, unfortunately. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.